Israeli media is reporting that the IDF has launched an attack on Gaza. The attack comes after the U.S., citing credible sources, warned that Hamas was planning an imminent attack on civilians in Gaza, which would be a grave violation of the ceasefire agreement. Earlier today, Hamas rejected that allegation. For more on this developing story, we can cross to Jerusalem and speak to France 24's Noga Tarnopolsky. Now, Noga, the situation between Hamas and Gaza, we saw growing increasingly tense, and now this attack, but not on civilians. What more can you tell us about it?
This is very much a developing story. What I know right now, there are still clashes, armed clashes underway right now in Rafah, ground forces against Hamas militiamen. My understanding is that an armed Hamas cell attacked an Israeli army post earlier today. There are apparently casualties, Israeli casualties that we do not yet have the details. And Israel is, first of all, still engaged in fighting. It's not over. And also launched an airstrike against apparently the sites of these same Hamas terror cells in southern Gaza. What we also have is the Minister of National Security of Israel, Itamar Ben-Gvir, is calling for Israel to return to war with full force following these reports. We also have from the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu just last night in a sort of talk show among his supporters. He said that he wouldn't consider the war over. He wouldn't say the war is finished until Hamas had in fact laid down its arms. And the latest we've heard from various Hamas spokespeople is that the organization was not planning to lay down arms. That said, there is massive pressure being put on all sides, as far as I know. There's pressure being put on Hamas to stop dragging its feet with the bodies of dead Israeli hostages. That has become a real flashpoint. And there is pressure on Israel, kind of double pressure on Israel from the United States, that has unilaterally simply decided this war is over and has insisted on this to Israelis until this point, no matter what Hamas did. And Israel, I don't think, has right now the leeway to return to war without a U.S. okay. The situation is even more complicated by the fact that Vice President Vance is on his way to Israel in about 48 hours. But today, or tomorrow, imminently, we're expecting a visit from Steve Witkoff, Donald Trump's envoy to the Middle East, who at the same time that he's on his way to Israel gave rather an earthquake of an interview yesterday, or we saw excerpts of it yesterday, to 60 Minutes, the American television show, in which he said that he and Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, had felt, I'm quoting now, a bit betrayed by the Israeli prime minister over an airstrike in Qatar more than a month ago now, that is what spurred a feeling of urgency among the Americans to just end this war. Jared Kushner also made some pretty harsh critiques of the prime minister. And so until moments ago, our understanding here is that the visit by Vance and Witkoff was intended to really squeeze Israel and make sure that Israel understood that no matter what happens, this war is over and a return to war is not on the table. We will have to wait a few hours today to see the full extent, the full dimensions of what happened this morning in southern Gaza, and then wait to see if the U.S. reaction is any different than it was a few hours ago.
Right, what impact that will have. Noga, thank you so much for keeping us updated. That's France 24's Jerusalem correspondent, Noga Tarnopolsky.